Gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a potential threat to both your wallet as well as your heart. Social media and internet romance scams. Here on Big Pretty Man. Hi, and welcome back to Big Pretty Man, a channel for the extra large man who wants to live his life large and in charge. I'm your host, Timothy Big Pretty Crowe. I'm a wardrobe and lifestyle consultant for the extra large man. And before I even get started, I'd like to say that if you haven't already subscribed to Big Pretty Man and become part of the Big Pretty Nation, then please take a moment right now and hit that little King Henry head with my pretty face and give me a join. Also, go ahead and give me a like. And speaking as we're talking about my YouTube channel, one thing I have to do fairly often is I have to go through my comments on my videos, and I find these scam comments. Usually I've been noticing they put up in Chinese that lead to a link to either some sort of scam dating service or some sort of porn site, something like that, and I have to go in and delete them and block them. But they still keep popping up. I just had to take one down the other day, which had brought me to think about the issue of internet and romance site scams, and they are rampant at this point. In fact, it's estimated that overall internet scams and internet fraud took in about $29 billion last year, and the actual romance frauds on the internet, both on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on the dating services, took in about $304 million. It actually went up mostly because of COVID. People are home and on the internet more. But that just $304 million. Now, that broken down to each person has been estimated that's about $2,500 per person that got scammed and got their hard-earned money taken away. And I wanted to do this video because these scammers actually follow the demographics. They follow the algorithms, and they know who to target. They target older women as much as men. However, with men, they're going to target two types. They're going to target older men in their 50s or 60s, or they're going to and they will also target extra large size men, heavy men, because it is believed that these men are more because they're older, they'll probably have a little bit of money in the bank, but they're also probably lonely, desperate, can't get dates, that whole stereotype, and so therefore they see them as easy pickings. So the real rubes to go after. And let me tell you, I get quite a few, especially on Facebook, at least one or two a week of people trying to friend me, and I look and it's just, I automatically know it's an automatic fake profile, fake page, and a scammer. So, and as soon as I see it, I just delete it. However, so many men are being taken in by this, and it's an embarrassing thing, and people don't talk about it, and a lot of times they don't report it. But the thing is, there are ways to avoid these scammers. Now, first thing is, don't think that you can't be fooled. You can be fooled. That actually, the scammers count on the fact that you think you're too smart to be fooled. That makes you even an easier target. You can be fooled. Therefore, don't even. You need to keep your ears peeled for this type of thing. Keep a sharp eye, and be suspicious, because these type of cons can be often just ridiculously simple and easy to see through, but some of them can be far more advanced. Some of them will go for what I say, they go for the long game, which we'll get into. Now, the first things I would talk about is things you need to look out for, and first with these fakes. First, I'll talk about with Facebook. Now, the first rule that I think you need to remember, and this should be the guiding rule for it all. If it looks too good to be true, too fantastic, it's probably not true. It is probably a fake and a scam. If you're, for instance, if you have a Facebook account and all of a sudden a beautiful early 20 something sends you a like or a message, somebody that, they send, and on their site, it's obvious model shots, and you don't have any like friends or any like groups, and then you go in and you look at their page, and there's just their profile picture and no extra no posts, or if they do have posts, it's very random. It's very simple, maybe 2 or 3, something like that. Also, if their info section has nothing really listed, or what they have listed doesn't fit with what they're saying, like you have somebody from Texas, but I had one send me, and I looked, and they claimed to be for Texas, but yet they were listing in their schools that they went to school in Nigeria. Texas girl that went to school in Nigeria. I mean, I guess maybe there's a study abroad thing, but that's suspicious. I'm like, if you're going to do a con, at least go all the way. So you have to look out for these little telltales like that. Now if they were to send you a message, there, one thing to look out for, once again, if this person looks way too good to be true, you're a man, you're a heavy-set man in his mid-50s, and suddenly you've got a 24-year-old gorgeous woman in a bikini sending you pics, that sends you pics, and also is saying, "Oh, I want to get to know you. I'm looking for true love." All of this, you most likely you have a scam. So there are ways when they do this that you kind of bust them. Usually, my first advice is just accept that this is not real, and just go ahead and delete them and block them. Just don't even take the chance, because a lot of these people are experts at getting information out of you. Now, so that's one of the bigger things to look out for. Now, when it comes to these romance sites, and let me tell you, the romance sites, the dating services sites, all of them, even Christian Mingle, they are infested, absolutely hopelessly infested with these fake profiles from scammers. I mean, just there. In fact, I would even say, I don't really know the percentage, but I would say probably 90% of, or higher, that try to make a connection with you there are going to be a scammer. And the thing is, at one time, and you shouldn't be ashamed that you're doing that. A lot of people our age still are a little embarrassed that they would be looking on a dating site or a matching site for romance. But you know what? If you go back 10 to 15 years, it would have been a little more embarrassing. It seems a little bit of somebody that can't find a date. Somebody, they have to go to the internet. But now, a large percentage of people people married met on the internet. They met on some social media. They met on Facebook or Instagram or in some chat group. So it's not really that is nothing to be ashamed of. And I'll even say, I have a girlfriend now, but before I did try out like a lot of us, probably a lot of you out there. I tried out the dating services after I was divorced. Actually, I did it between divorces. Long story. I always tell people, like from Jurassic Park, they ask me if I'm married. I say occasionally. I'm always looking for my next ex-wife. But either way, I did, I did look at these sites, and I swear I would get 50 or 60 of these fake profiles, and people coming at me being like, "Hey, baby," all of this. That's another sign. If they're way too friendly, way too quick, not just a hello, how are you. They want to all of a sudden go into some sort of romantic pet talk, calling you baby or honey or all of that. Nobody does that on an intro. A real woman, an honest woman, is not going to do that. So that's another sign that you're dealing with a fake. Now, and a lot of men are falling in for this. So, and there are a couple of other hints that I would talk about if you do end up, like say on the dating sites, these romance sites. If someone does contact you and you are interested, and it doesn't look like a fraud, and sometimes they can be very clever. Sometimes they will talk to you for weeks or even months and trying to get to know you. Here's the two, and they're going for the big payday. And they're also going for something else, and that is identity theft. So which brings me to something else, is be very careful about what you reveal to anyone online. Period. If you do not know them personally, you do not know them face to face, do not reveal your personal information. And like I said, the thing is, think about when you like a first date, and that's the type of talk you're going to have on these sites. What do you do for a living? Where do you live? How many kids do you have? Do you have any kids? How many times you've been married? All of that is phishing. It's known as phishing. They're getting as much information about you as they can. They've got your name from the site, and maybe sometimes even tells the date of birth or how at least how old you are. So they're fishing for this information, and it doesn't take a lot of information to hack into both your social media accounts and even your bank account. Definitely don't answer questions when people like, hey, did you have a pet as a kid? What's your favorite movie? Those sound familiar? Yeah, they're all the questions that can open up to change your password. And they'll slip these in not all at once. Like I said, some of these are very sophisticated, and they're going for the long game. Get your information, break into your bank account, break in, set up use you as one of the cons in their social media. It can happen, and it happens every day. And probably from people thinking just they're innocently talking to someone. So keep all of that under wraps. If you are talking to someone that you think is real, just if they ask you questions like that, say, well, I prefer more to talk about that when we meet in person. Something like that. And if they get upset about that, then you got an issue. So don't you trust me? I don't trust anybody. Especially somebody faceless on the internet. So, you really got to watch out for this. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is how you can possibly spot these people. There are ways. In fact, I have one that we're going to really just shut them down. Now we got to understand that a lot of times on these romance sites, as also on Facebook, that these fake profiles. A lot of them. Now we do have some homegrown ones, trust me, but we also have a lot of them. A majority of them are coming out of other countries, particularly out of the continent of Africa. A lot of them from Nigeria, from Ghana, a lot of them from the Caribbean, places like Haiti, places like that. And what they're doing is they're sitting in some internet cafe with their computer, and they're running dozens, maybe even 100 or more of these fake profiles, and just sit there all day and monitor them because they're playing the odds. One out of 50 people, all of them are going to say you're a scammer, kiss my ass. But there'll be that one dude that won't, and they may get a couple $1,000s. Well, that's a couple $1,000 for one day's work, and of course they're probably being far more successful than that. Once again, $304 million last year. So. But because of that, there are some real ways to bust them. And sometimes I will admit when I get one of these profiles on one of these friend requests that I see, and I know automatically that it's a fake. I'll drag them out just a little bit, just for a few minutes. I play with it for a few minutes just to get them so that I can bust them. And a couple of things that you'll start seeing, and it's almost a signature. One is it becomes very obvious, even though the English is not their first language. Their sentences will be a little clunky and awkward. The turn of phrase will be unfamiliar and not common. You'll understand what they're saying, but it doesn't have the natural flow of a first language English user. That becomes apparent. And another thing, and a lot of times that's because they're actually using either their English skills are not that good. It is a second language they studied in school. Be like when we studied Spanish or French, that really would stand out in Spain and France for most of us. But even more than that, a lot of them are using these automated translators, and they can translate things that lost in translation in a very odd form. So that's one thing. You have somebody saying, "I'm from Tennessee," or "I'm from California," or "I'm from Arizona," but yet it's obvious that their English is clunky, and they don't understand understand turn of phrases. Then that's a telltale. Another particular one, two signatures in that, and I almost hate to tell them because they may watch this video, but I've noticed that they do not get the contraction I'm. The contraction for I am. I'm. What they end up saying is am. Am from California. Am third daughter to my father. They're using am instead of I'm, and no native speaking English, a person speaking English would talk that way, would use am instead of I'm. They get that confused. They don't understand the contraction. If you see that, I promise you, that's a scammer. That's somebody sitting in some cafe in Nigeria, male or female, who knows, claiming, another dead giveaway is if they say a number, and eventually are, because they're going to ask you for money. If they say a number and they write a number and they put the dollar mark at the end of the number instead of in front of the number. In America, we put the number sign at the beginning of the said number. However, in a lot of other countries in Europe, as well as in some of the countries that were settled by, colonized by the French and the Spanish, they put the dollar sign or the numeral, the sign for money, whatever it is, at the end of it. The way it's said, say $29. Well, that makes sense to put 29 then the dollar mark, but we don't do that. We put the dollar mark in the front. If you see that and somebody's claiming to be from Mississippi, they're putting the dollar. No native speaker of English, no American is going to do that. So there's another giveaway. So between the am and the number thing, if you see that, and another one that I'll point out that I see, and it's another dead giveaway, is they don't use punctuation. I think that may be because of the translator. Maybe they don't understand the punctuation. Punctuation is hard to understand in studying another language. Hard enough to learn the words than know where the commas go and the periods go and all of that, and a capital letter at the front. It'll just be this straight script without any, and they never use punctuation. Now, sometimes people will forget to use punctuation if they're typing, but usually we don't. I mean, even the most uneducated of texters, and commenters on internet, they use punctuation as well as emojis and all that. If you see somebody that's so, if you have someone talking to you that their English is clunky, they have strange turns of phrases, no comment. They say things in a very complicated way where we would say it's simple. Sentence structure is off. If they're not using punctuation, if they're putting the dollar sign at the end, if they don't get the contraction I'm or other contractions, you're most likely dealing with somebody in some other country sitting on a computer trying to get your money. So those are absolute signature telltale tales if you see that. Now, like I said, there are a couple of the scams that get very sophisticated. One particular one is military scams. Now, a lot of women fall for these because there are a lot more men in the military, but there are a lot of the ones for men, and it's usually the same story. And be careful once again of these sob stories or these really strange stories about money. But you'll go on these things, these dating sites, and they'll tell you, I'm a soldier in Iraq, or I'm a soldier usually in Afghanistan, though I guess they're going to have to do something different now. And they're talking to you there. Now, and another thing that all of them do is that if you ask, hey, can we talk on the phone? They'll always come up with an excuse why they can't talk on the phone. Or, hey, let's video chat. They'll always come up with the excuse that they can't video chat. Usually, the one that most commonly use, if you use it on Facebook or the dating sites, is, oh, my camera doesn't work on my phone, or I don't have enough minutes on my phone. And they'll actually use that one to lead in to ask you to buy them a calling card. Yeah. So, but there's always an excuse. There's always a reason they can't do it. A few times when I've dragged them out just for entertainment, I'm bored, I'll say, okay, well, let's video talk. And I use the one on Facebook, not my direct number. Never give your number for anything. And one of the tricks they always do is you all of a sudden, you will get this. It's very apparent from the light that it's the reddish light. That's a finger over the camera, and they're, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Come on. So they always avoid doing that. And the ones with the military, if you ask them, they'll always give this excuse of, well, our location is considered top secret, is considered confidential. We can't use our cell phones to call out because they could tap into them. Which one thing that's bullshit. Completely. People from in Afghanistan call home on a regular basis, and if they can't do it there, they actually have LinkedIn internet phone systems that's scrambled so that nobody's going to get into them. And they're in Afghanistan. So when you hear that, that's automatic bull. And then you end up getting, and like I said, some of these will go the long way. It ain't just really quick, hey baby, all this. They will play it out. They will try to get to know you and pretend like the relationship is building, and some of them are very skilled at doing this. From what I've read, they will, they really know how to get you into it and what to say and to drag you into what you're thinking is a relationship. And once you do, and this can take weeks or months. Once you do, suddenly, especially with the military ones, you'll get this one of these stories. The most common one with the military is, listen, out on a patrol, we hit upon a place where they were mining diamonds, and we found all of these illegal diamonds, or it's illegal cash, or it's illegal gold. And when we confiscated it, our commander quietly just distributed among us. But you know what? I can't get it out of the. I have enough that we and you can live the life of our dreams if we can only get it out. But I don't have the money. It's sitting in a deposit box here, but I can't pay the fee. If I can pay the fee and then get it transferred to another bank, if you could send me the money for that, we would live like kings. We happily ever after, have sex on the beach 24 hours a day, whatever. Just a ridiculous story. And if you've been talking to this person for months or weeks and suddenly you get this, so apparently some people are so gullible and so in love is blind, they actually believe this apparently. Or I think even worse is that's when you hit, oh my God, I've been duped this whole time. So you got to be careful. And you also get inheritance money from the other stores. I got this inheritance, but I've got to trade. I got to hire a lawyer to get it transferred. Then we can live like kings. once again, if it sounds too good to be true from a person that's really would not be contacting you in normal life, if it's too good to be true, then it's a con. Come on. So it's a scam, and you need to delete any contact with them, and then also report them to the authorities. And there are groups out there. The FBI, CIA do have systems, but you can report this. They're very hard. I mean, you got to understand, if they shut one down, they'll just open it. They've probably got 25, 30, 100 other groups or profiles out there, addresses they have out there. And if they shut this one down, they'll just make another one in 10 minutes. So it's very hard for the dating services and Facebook to stop these things. But still, if we keep reporting them, then it will. Then it can at least help. But however, I'll tell you one right off the bat, whether it be the military, it be, anyone's talking about no matter what they look like. And sometimes the smart ones don't put up the glamour shots because you ain't going to buy that. Put up a normal looking lady, pretty, but, not model level, maybe a little older. And you're more likely to believe that. They could be, some of these are smart. But there is one trick I use that is really kind of foolproof that will bust them. And it is, do this. If you're talking to one of these people right off the bat, within the first 10 minutes, and don't reveal any personal information, just say, so are those your real pictures? I'm going to come back and say, oh, of course it's my real pictures. Who else would it be? Okay, then would you mind doing me a favor? Sure. Yeah, what would it be? What would that be? I want you to take your take your phone, and a piece of paper. I want you to write on there, and I've used different ones, random ones. For instance, I want you to write, "Mary had a little lamb" on a piece of paper in your own handwriting, not typed, not some sort of phone script app, in your own handwriting. Write, "Mary had a little lamb." Then I want you to hold it up in front of your face and take a selfie with it. Then send it to me. Obviously, if these are stolen pics that they've gotten off the internet or somebody else's Facebook, whatever, what they usually are, they can't do that, and they're busted. And just try to tell, and they'll start trying to make excuses. Why would you want me to do that? Or my camera's broke. Well, then we can't talk because I need verification. If you won't do a video and you won't do a video and you won't send me this, then bye. Because they're fake. And and a lot of times when I've done it, they've gotten angry and suddenly come out. In fact, I had one, it's hilarious, that sent me that. And I said, okay, send me the picture because I think you're fake. You can't speak English. English is obviously a second language. You haven't used a single punctuation. You keep using am instead of I'm. So send me this picture. And when I didn't, all of a sudden it all went out the window when they started talking about cursing me with Ogun, the voodoo god. I was going to curse me. They would. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm about to curse you, and I reported them to Facebook, and they shut down their page. Of course, I'm sure they opened another one in 10 minutes, but still, I found that funny. So that's a dead one. I mean, if you start telling me when you have any question, do that. And if they start saying, well, why you don't trust me? I don't trust anybody. We're on the internet. I don't know who you are. So, if you do this, then that's it. I'll trust you. I know who you. I will know I'm talking to who you're claiming to be. At least I'll know that. If you can't do that, then bye, and delete them right away. It's a little bit fun because you busted them. So basically, in the end, once again, if it looks too good to be true, then it probably is. Do not give out any of your personal information, your birth date. Do not give a single dime, a single red penny to anyone online. Anyone would ask for it, automatically delete them under any circumstance. Definitely do not give them a credit card number. Don't buy them a phone card. They can trace through that. Absolutely give them, baby gets nothing. Unless you want to meet and I actually meet you in person. If you're real, then you be up for that. If not, bye. So, you got to be careful. And also, even though, the internet is a great way to connect with people, especially down here in the COVID era, when we're all locked up, when we're all basically shut up or have limited social interaction, I understand that that's a good way to meet people. But, if you can, ain't nothing like the good old-fashioned way of actually meeting people in person. Go out and actually meet people face to face. And even if you do meet somebody on the internet, go through, I prefer to go through groups of people that I actually know through friends and all of that. Then arrange to meet in person. Let that be the intro, but arrange to meet in person right away. If you can meet in person, that's the best way. That's the way humans have met for thousands of years. That's how you make a connection, and that's still what's going to end up being the most important. So guard your wallet and guard your heart. Meet these women in person, and when you do, you know what I'm going to say: stay pretty.